Michael Steele is complaining that some of the members are trying to strip him of his powers, right?
Well, there is a secondary story here, well, that's very much a subtext of division in the RNC. Steele's been the chairman now for 4 months, and for the first month and a half of his tenure, there wasn't a lot of staff at Republican Party headquarters. He's now hired them and has begun to get things going, but there's a group of anywhere between 6 and a dozen members of the 150-plus RNC that are essentially gunning for Steele with what he says is a resolution to strip him of his authority over the purse strings. They want to increase the oversight and bring in a new comptroller that would essentially answer to the Budget Committee instead of the chairman. He says that that's a disaster and that ultimately it's a handful of guys going after him because they're a little bit jealous that he won and they backed other candidates. I interviewed Mike Steele about this. Here's a little bit of how he described it. What did you do to antagonize these members of the committee?
You know, I was thinking about changing my cologne. And
I'm serious.
I'm being serious. I mean, because some of them were supposedly friends that, you know, were in some cases, you know, when I became a young chairman, state party chairman, and served in the executive committee, were a mentor to me. And it's kind of eerie to see them sort of standing on the other side, you know, with their knives bared.
On some level, it's symptomatic of criticism of the Republican Party across the country, that there's a lot of internal criticism with one Republican bashing another as either not conservative enough or not adhering to party principles. The RNC is upset because they think Mike Steele isn't necessarily doing all the appropriate oversight of its money, and because he's a new chairman, they think that there's a lot of change being undertaken that perhaps they disagree with. All of this being fought out largely behind the scenes here at this gathering. There'll be a big vote tomorrow, and Steele's speech today is meant to both advance the party, say that we have to come up with new ideas, fresh faces, and compete against Democrats, but also saying to those critics on the Republican National Committee itself that it's time for them perhaps to shut up a little bit and let him do his job.